Hello, my name is David Laster, and you will discover some great retirement advice as you continue to listen today. Currently, I'm a nationally recognized financial literacy expert. I currently have a Kindle book on Amazon's bestseller list and have been quoted online at Fox, NBC, ABC, and CBS. I recently did a radio interview and would like to share it with you today. What you will discover today is information that is unique and different than what you will hear in the mainstream media. Whether you do business with me or someone else, you still need this information. Don't deprive yourself of this valuable information. Here is what one of my clients had to say.
Hi, my name is Maria Pinella, and I'm from Edison Middle School. And I worked with David, and he was able to explain everything that had to deal with my retirement. Um, he helped me out a lot, and the experience was great. I recommend working with David, and he knows what he's talking about. Thank
All
you.
right. Well, thank you. On a scale of 1 to 10, how would you rate my service?
It was 10. If
10.
there was a 10 plus, there you go, you got it.
As you may not realize, too many Americans today are in the dark about their retirement, and my job is to shed some light so that you can retire the way you so desperately want and deserve. In retirement, you probably will have a significant income gap if you have worked less than 30 years at the same company. This will in turn leave an income gap which needs to be filled. Experts say there is a right way and a wrong way to fill this income gap. As you are listening, start thinking about your current plan and whether it makes retirement sense for the future. So let's get started with my radio interview.
Hello, and thank you for joining us for another episode of Modern Living with Dr. Angela. I'm your host, Dr. Angela Chester. Today's episode is end of the year wrap up. Well, the end of the year is here. We have survived Thanksgiving and Christmas, and I pray that you will also make it through to the new year. But be careful out there. Remember to be safe. But before we sing Old Lang Syne, it's a good idea to reflect and revise. Taking a moment to look back at the year affords us the opportunity to plan for the upcoming year and improve those things that need our attention. So today we're going to look at 5 things that you can do to get your year off to a great start. But we do have some sponsors that we need to mention. Our show sponsor today is From Head to Start by Sean Petrie, and this is an engaging new book from head to heart, helps its readers to believe in experiences that God has shared with Sean. We'll talk more about that on our break. Our music sponsor is Come Home Soon by Greg Neeson. But we have an awesome bonus interview scheduled for you today, and we have nationally recognized financial literacy expert David Lastiger. David, are you there?
I am.
Thank
I
you
am.
so much for joining us on the show today.
Thank you for having me. I'm blessed just to be here.
Thank you. Well, listeners, if you're not familiar with the name, which I'm not sure how you couldn't be, but let me tell you just a little bit about David. He's also known as the Teacher's Financial Literacy Expert. He has been featured in How to Sell in the New Economy and on Amazon's bestseller, The Systems, by Eric Lapham, a former sales trainer of Tony Robbins. David is currently serving LAUSD as well as LBUSD, and of course that's Long Beach schools as well as LA schools, the teachers, the educators, the homeowners, and business owners in Southern California. And being a fellow SoCal resident, we are so happy to have you visit with us today. Now, I know that you can't stay with us long, so I'm going to try to get as many questions to you as I possibly can. But one of the questions that I have for you is, why is financial literacy so important?
A great question. Financial literacy is important because a lot of employees that I come across, a lot of Americans are just misinformed. They don't know what they have, and it really takes somebody to know what they have to explain to them. And it's very important. a lot of employees that I come across, they get a lot of their information from the media. And what I realized is some of the media is the worst place to get your retirement advice. So I just take out time. I'm very passionate about helping teachers and business owners and homeowners, and it just does my heart happy to be able to help them. And when I see the light bulb come on, it really like, wow, I'm really doing something good. I'm really adding value to people, one person at a time.
Well, you definitely are, because you're not taught how to look at your finances in school unless that's something that you're majoring in, or at least taking a minor in. As far as I know, unless something has changed, in high school, you don't learn how to really look at all of your financial options, or how to even select a stock, or what a bond is, or any of those things. So I know that from a personal perspective, thank God I had parents that were a little more involved in their finances, so they were able to pass on some things to me. But by and large, I think people really and truly are lost, which leads me to the next question. And I know as the year wraps up, we're getting ready for preparing for, the W-2s, or for that paperwork to be sent out, and people want to know, what am I supposed to do? But what are pre-tax versus after-tax programs? Is that something that we need to look at the beginning of the year or at the end of the year? How does that work?
Well, you should be looking at them all during the year, because when you have a pre-tax program, you can write off that amount in your taxes currently. But the way it works, when you get to retirement, you start accessing all that money will be taxed at the tax rate at that time. So you might be 25 years old now and putting your money in a pre-tax program. You plan to retire at 65. You're not going to pay the tax rates at 65. You're going to pay the tax rates at 65, not 25, but 65. And then when you do an after-tax program, you get rid of the tax man up front. You don't have to pay you won't get the tax deduction this year, but in retirement, or when you need your money the most, you pay no taxes. It's basically like tax immune.
Okay. Now see, I'm sure there's someone that's going, okay. Because I remember when I was an employee, the only time we really talked about money was when the person that was the project manager for your 401k program would come in and do like the yearly assessment or yearly review, and that was your opportunity to talk to someone. But when, there's hundreds of people, you really don't get as much time with that person as you would probably like. And then life happens along the way, and you really don't get the opportunity to sit down and speak to people unless you have a financial planner. I'm so happy that you're sharing that with us. Well, David, we have to take a very short break, but when we get back, we are going to talk about some other projects that you have coming up as well. So listeners, don't leave. We'll be back right after this.
Stock up on what's freshest in organic foods now. Feed your family from our hand-picked list of who we think are the best organic food suppliers thus far to meet your needs. Fresh food for all. It's healthy, natural, clean, organic. From the farm to your table. It's treatorganic.com. That's treatorganic.com.
And we are back. Thank you for listening to another episode of Modern Living with Dr. Angela. I'm your host, Dr. Angela Tester. We are talking to the nationally recognized and financial literacy expert, David Laster, and we are asking about how should we deal with our money. It is the end of the year, and what are some tips that he can give us to make sure that we're doing the best things that we possibly can, because this is the end of the year wrap-up. So it is time to reflect and revise. So we want to make sure that we are prepared for 2016 as best as we possibly can. Now, I know that, David, that you're working with the Long Beach school system as well as the LA school system with all of our teachers and homeowners and all of that. Is there a huge difference between working with someone who is in the school system versus someone who's not in the school system? Like, are there some unique situations or schedulings or anything that they have to deal with that others don't?
Well, one of the things I've realized, we're working with teachers, they have a pension. They have a guaranteed income for life, whereas some homeowners, they don't have a pension. They might just have like a 401k or a 457. So that's pretty much the main difference between the two.
Okay. Now, you said a 457. What is a 457?
It's a pre-tax program similar to like a 401k, where you can take your money out of your paycheck pre-tax and save for retirement. So.
Okay. I know with all of the different numbers and all of that people get a little bit confused, and I don't want to throw any new ones out, but I know that when we're doing family planning for families with the clients who come in, one of the things that I tell them to do is make sure you set up that account for your children. Have a 529. And most of the time they haven't heard of that. I am no financial expert by any means, but that was one of the things that was suggested for me with my children. And it's, if you put a little away when baby is born, a boy is easier than trying to play catch up, when the child was sophomore in high school. So definitely, people, if you're not familiar with a particular thing, make sure that you're Googling it, that you're seeking out that financial expert that you need, that David is definitely helping us with today. Well, I know that you have a book that you are writing. Why are you writing the book, and can you tell us a little bit more about it?
Well, the reason why I'm writing the book, because people need to know. They deserve to know. They've worked hard over the last 20, 30 years, and to get to retirement and not know some things that are very important to you in retirement can be costly. One of the things I talk about in my report, I have a free report out right now. It's called the iceberg concept, and it's basically this. There's 3 types of information in the world. The first type of information is information you know that you know. Okay, so you know how to drive a car, so you know that. So that's the first type. The second information is information you know you don't know, as like you don't know how to fly a plane, okay, unless you have a flight license. But the third is information you don't know. So imagine you're driving down the freeway and there's a car in your blind spot. Well, if you move over to that area, you're going to cause an accident, which obviously is going to cost you money and can cause you harm. Well, when you get to retirement and you're unaware of some things, retirement blind spots, trust me, you're going to pay thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars, and you wish you would have known, but unfortunately, it's almost too late. So it's the iceberg concept. When you look at the iceberg, 80% of it's underwater, so you don't even know it's there. So that's basically one of the things I talk about in my book report.
I love that analogy. Yeah, you don't know if that car is in your blind spot because it's in your blind spot. And boy, are so many people hit hard with that. Yes, most definitely. Now, I know that, go ahead.
Oh, basically, and when I sit down with a teacher or a prospect, I help them to discover those blind spots that they've been missing for decades. The media and Wall Street and the banks have been hiding this information from them for decades, and I help to reveal that secret.
And we need to have these conversations. We need to have people teach us what is affecting us. We may not think that it's affecting us now, but it really and truly is. Even if it's a delayed effect, meaning when we're retired, but no one wants to be 70 and not be able to live how they've become accustomed to living. You want to be able to be comfortable, and you don't have to worry, when you're a senior. And it's really interesting how, like you said, we've been learning our information via the media or, some movie or some show that we watch, and we're trying to take that as gospel, and that's really and truly not the case. Now, with the report that you have, with the iceberg report, is it geared for a particular age group, or is it geared towards just homeowners? Can you be a young person who's a renter, or can you be a older person who's kind of semi-retired, where your retirement age, but maybe you still work from home or part-time?
It's geared for everybody. It's just basic general information. It's for anybody who wants it.
Got you. Now, I know that we are doing a year of end wrap-up, and are there any one or two things, since we're still in December, are there one or two things that someone has to do, that it is an absolute must that they do financially before we literally get into the year 2016? Or should we start planning financially the beginning of the year, January 1st? Should we put some new ideas or some new things into place?
Okay, well, one thing I would recommend is if you're already saving for retirement, this is what you want to do. You want to call up your company, whatever company it is, and ask them this one question. What is my real rate of return over the last 12 months? Now, I've sat down with several teachers and clients and prospects in the last month or so, actually 2 or 3 months, and a lot of them have had negative returns in their accounts, and they didn't know about it. Mm-hmm. August was a bad month in the market. And then from just since January, some of them had a -1 rate of return. A lot of times people are misinformed, and they take the mutual fund company's word for it, and they focus on average return. But there's a difference between average return and real return. If you say, for example, you started with $100,000 and you had a -50% rate of return, so you lost 50%. So now you're at $50,000. But now at $50,000, you gain 50%. Most people would say you're back at 100, but you're not. You're back. You're actually at 75,000. So the average return is 0. However, the real return is -25%. Now, how long can you live off having a -25% and have a good retirement? It won't work.
Wow, I could just sense that somebody went, what? Oh my God, -25. Like you said, the average person's like, oh, you made your money back. And boy, are you slapped in the face when you find out that you didn't, that you're actually in the negative. Now, people you don't have to be a math whiz. I know with the whole new math discussions that we have, and it's, blowing everyone's mind, but we know that negative is never good when we're talking about money. We want it to be a positive number. And like you said, it's hard to live off of a negative number. No one wants to be in the red when it comes to retirement and especially day-to-day living. Now, is there something that I know that you should talk to that financial person and find out what the real return is. Is that something that starting with 2016, is that something that they should do like every quarter, every month, or is there like a particular time period where it's good and they should just schedule it on their calendars to get that financial check?
Yeah, I would say at least every 3 months. Every 3 months.
Okay.
Absolutely. But most people don't do that.
Yeah, they don't. I know that I get my quarterly statements. I want to know what's going on, but I also have little monthly ticklers. It's not that I'm necessarily obsessed about it. It's just I like to. I'm a very visual person, so I like to make my own little graphs of where it was. I check on the same day, all that kind of nothing overly. So it's the end of the month. It's the 30th. Let's check and see where we were. Where were we last month? Where are we this month? When the quarterly statement comes out, I know that that's kind of a different. Compare those reports, and it's like, oh, great, I'm making some progress. When I'm not making progress, I have little alerts that let me know, oh, you lost some money today. But I'm not. That's something else that I want to kind of ask. And I know that from media, they tell us that, the stock market is going to do what the stock market is going to do, and there will be dips and there will be spikes and all of that good stuff. Should we really pay attention to that? Should we have that little ticker tape going across the bottom of our screen looking for the stocks and stuff that we own or the groupings that we're in? Or should we just look at that quarterly report that gives us a better does that give us a better overview?
Well, that's a good point. That's a good question. The best thing, what I would do is just do a little bit of research on what you have, the best that you can. If you have the time to look at the charts on a weekly basis, then do that. But also you want to make sure that you look at your statements every month or every 3 months. But one of the concepts that I like to talk about is having multiple buckets. So yeah, you have money in the market, but you also want to have other vehicles, other strategies where you can put money too. So when you get to retirement, you're not just taking money out of one pot. You have multiple pots that you can access in retirement. Follow me?
Gotcha. I like the idea of multiple pots. You don't want to, knock over one bucket and it's all gone. Nothing like having those multiples. Well, listeners, we need to take one more break, but please do not leave your computers. We are spending a little bit more time with David, and we want you to make sure that you are prepared for the new year. So we will be back.
One thing will always be true, and whether you can feel it or not, there's always some hope in you, and whether you believe it or not, he believes in you.
And that was Come Home Soon by Greg Nathan, our music sponsor for the day. But we also want you to visit the Kickstarter page, From Head to Heart, and that is by author Sean Petrie. He is writing from head to heart, and he's sharing the experience that he has with God's love that teaches everyone about Jesus and how he experiences things and how important it is to have a belief in something that is greater than oneself. Head to Heart is an extremely useful tool in strengthening your faith and one that has the power to change lives. This unique Christian context is currently being funded via this crowdfunding platform on Kickstarter, and we would love for you to visit. If you are listening via our enhanced version, that would be on Blog Talk Radio or on iTunes. Just simply click on the link where it says show sponsor, and you will be taken to that Kickstarter page. That is the same fact if you are listening on our enhanced version. Click on our bonus interview that says David Laster, and you will be taken to his website where you can pick up a copy of the Iceberg Report that he is sharing with our listeners. So, David, I know that we're down to our last 5 minutes of the show or so, but what are some things that you are doing in 2016 that you would like to share with our listeners?
Well, one of the things that I plan on doing is doing a book tour, visiting schools in the LA area and just getting the word out to teachers and staff and principals, letting them know about my book and how I can help them plan for retirement, a safe retirement, 100% safe retirement.
I like that. Safe retirement. Now, I don't know about anybody else, but I would be fired up about that because I know that that's something that isn't a burden of concern, but it is something that I think about, especially as I've gotten older. And now my children are at that age where I'll have a senior in high school next year. And I know that that means that I'm reaching a particular milestone. So I want to make sure that all of my ducks are in a row and that I can take care of college education as well as my retirement. As far as book tour is concerned, when you are ready to do that, please remember us and think about coming here and sharing some of your stories along the way. We would love to be included on your book tour list.
Here's what some more of my clients had to say.
Hi, my name is Evelyn Bautista, and I work at Dr. Moore Academy. And I just signed up for the IUL, and I had a great experience with David Lester. I give him a really high five because he was texting me. Communication was great with him, always on top of things, and he was even willing to go to after school and to get this done and guide me through the process. Great presentation, and the thing that I like more about the program is it's tax free, and when I retire, I would have some money without even worrying in case of an emergency.
Okay, so one question for you: how would you, on a scale of 1 to 10, how would you rate the product or the presentation?
Okay.
10. Okay, thank you
And you
very.
did an awesome job.
Okay, thank you very much.
All right, my name is Oliver Williams. I work at Marquez High School, School of Social Justice. Mr. David Laster really helped me understand and learn about CalSTRS and the gap that's going to be present when I end up retiring. And he helped me set up a savings so that when I do retire, there won't be that income gap. You know, my father recently retired, and he got much less than he expected. So he told me, really look into retirement, and Mr. Laster really helped me prepare. And not only that, he helped me prepare some savings for both of my kids, who are babies now, but once they get older, they're really going to be taken care of like I wanted to do. So that's all thanks to Mr. Laster. I highly recommend everything he offers.
I have close to 1,000 clients since 2005, and even though many of my clients had financial advisors, they still got involved with my programs. The reason was because I provided a great deal of value, and I just plain gave them information their financial advisor didn't even tell them. So if you have a question or would like more information to help with your retirement concerns, please call the number on the screen or go to www.myunfairretirementadvantage.com, and one of our team members will contact you shortly. Thank you.